So, good morning, everybody. It's Jillian. So, as true to form, I figure I would just give you an update about what I would think. Yeah, spinal meningitis. It happens a lot when bacteria enter the bloodstream and get into your meninges area, like your spine, and activate your immune system to then cause inflammation. And that's what causes the pain, and your body is pushing out the bacteria. And so I know last month, like in January and in early February, I know bacteria got into my system because of purely taking care of an animal and all that stuff. And so when your body is allowed or is exposed to a lot of bacteria that get into your body, it's not like the spine has unresolved issues. It's that there was foreign bacteria that was able to get to the spine and then cause, yes, inflammation. And sometimes you'll have like a little hump or a raised type of thing on the top of your spine. And that's why people will get surgeries, because it's become such a problem. And that's why people get antibiotics, like medication, because they don't realize they're in a closed system. So they have to do everything through the medical or holistic to try to stop the pain. But I figured out a different way, and that's obviously opening up your system. And all that bacteria that is plaguing you, that's causing such torture. Where, like yesterday, I could barely even move my neck. I can only, like, I was hanging my head like this and doing dishes. Like, I could walk, but I couldn't even, like, move my neck. And if I did, I would yelp. And I couldn't, like, turn over, like, lay down and turn over without yelping or yelling. Like, holy shit. And it happened really quickly. The onset of it came in my last video yesterday. And so, you know, I could feel that my whole body was dealing with the bacteria, because I would feel it in my joints. I would feel it in my legs. I would feel it in my thighs. I would feel it all over. And it would also feel like just some kind of, like, it wasn't a very thick mycoplasma, but it was a feeling of like your joints and your muscles have been through some kind of activity when I wasn't going through any kind of activity. I wasn't doing any exercises or anything like that. But I know that I was exposed to a lot of bacteria that was foreign, and it made its way into my meninges. And of course, I dealt with this before a couple months back when I still had foreign bacteria in my body. I won't say foreign, but I still had stuff in my body, and the COVID frequencies would wake up the demons. And some of them would be around my meninges, and I would have like a stiff neck. But it wasn't as bad as this. This last time, the knot on of my trapezius, like the right upper shoulder, where I would have knots back in the 90s and early 2000s, where I would get massage and have someone like work out those little knots from, you know, dehydration, bad posture, all the things that you do in your 20s when you don't know any better, and then your body pays for it. Well, that actually came back. And so, yeah, like even doing these range of motions, I couldn't do yesterday at all without yelping. I could barely even sleep comfortably on the couch. And then finally, when I went to bed last night, I could barely really even just be comfortable. It was very difficult to get comfortable, very difficult to sleep. And so whatever sleep I did get, it would be like it would be quick. And then I had to turn over, and it'd take time for me to go back to sleep again. And so yesterday, I think I pooped, like, I had a bunch of cabbage. Now, eating a bunch of cabbage, and I was eating a whole bunch of cabbage this week. And I'm telling you, I don't usually eat a lot of cabbage. And you know, like the JJ is all about fermented cabbage juice, right? Why don't you take the J juice? Because I don't need the J juice. The J juice was the salt, and it was the water, and it was the fermented cabbage, yes, that kind of took everything off to the next hemisphere. But that was more to wake up the demons. The demons have already woken up in my body, mind, and spirit. And so then it's now replenishing and giving my body the nutrition and the roughage to carry stuff out. And I don't even need to do the J juice, because again, that is a lot of aggressive elements that isn't bad. It isn't like great when you already activated your immune system. I'm not trying to cure anything. Okay. And so what I needed was the roughage of the cabbage. So I was eating raw cabbage, like in a salad. And yesterday I was doing the cabbage steaks, and that was really good. And so when I pooped at least a few times yesterday, my pain was alleviating. It's like I could feel the farts come on, and then I definitely, got it out. Second time around, the farts came around, after eating the cabbage, and everything came out. I had to help it too a little bit, okay, and it came out. And then even at 5 o'clock this morning, 5 a.m., I was like, I was tossing and turning around 3 a.m., 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I'm like, shit, this is like, it was so bad. It was like, it became so aggressive that I had to get on the toilet, and then I had to go take a shower too, just to make sure everything was out. And then now I feel okay. That's what I'm saying, you guys, that everything resides, your whole immune system resides in your gut. All your pain, all of your anxiety, every single demon, every single good thing that's ever happened to you, it's all in your gut. And your body knows what needs to release and what needs to stay. And so, you have to feed your body, and you have to rest, and you have to release in the way that is not so aggressive and overpowering, that you're doing things in this natural processes. And that doesn't mean take natural remedies and all that shit. It means that God gave you fingers and hands and the ability to say no to drugs and social outings if you need to rest. And so that's what the whole J world is advocating, is if you're not that far gone and you can handle sitting with the pain. Because even when in between each bathroom and the body is building up its capacity and it's conditioning itself to deal with galvanizing all of the demons and then putting them through into the intestines, you still have to sit with it. You still have to deal with it. And then when you feel your intestines push out something, then you help your body push out without using J juice, without using anything, like any kind of instrument. You figure out a way. And I guess at some point, some people will have to use instruments and use other things until they are limber enough to figure out how to get to their different body parts to help release the demons. And that's the only thing, it's easier for me because I'm a small person. I'm not too big, and I'm not so small. But I'll tell you, today, right now, it is like 150% better, like complete turnaround. 150 degree, well, what is it? Yeah, 150 degree or 100 something degree turnaround than it was yesterday. It's like night and day. And that's because I knew that I had to find a way to get all of those demons out of the body. And why do you call them demons? Because they're the ones that are causing your body to want to push everything out. Your body pushing stuff out isn't the demons. It's your body, actually. It's your defense system. That's your immune system. What's causing your body to push everything out are the demons. That's what I'm referring to. But the actual activity of your body pushing stuff out is not demonic. That's your body trying to defend itself. And so what people do is when they don't want to throw up, and when they don't want to poop, when they don't want to pee, they don't want to sweat, they don't want to do anything to release, then they're trapping all of that torture, all of that damage, all of that crap inside, and then they wonder why they have to undergo surgeries. They wonder why they're on a string of medication and drugs. They wonder why they're always trying to self-medicate, because they don't know how to release. They really don't. And why they're seeing therapists, why they're doing so much stuff in the medical and the holistic system. And so, like, since I'm used to chemicals, okay, because chemicals is just different elements that are in the food supply, they're in the air, they're in the water, they're in everything. And since chemicals can be FDA approved, and I don't eat clean like people do when they're afraid of stuff, my body's able to handle the changes. And so if there is a major aggressive change of a chemical over here that's floating over here, a plume over here, a plume over there, I've already been exposed to the diverse food supply, whether it's fast food, junk food, meat, milk, cheese, eggs, fruits, vegetables, all the different, oils and stuff like that. I'm not saying the essential oils, but the oils like canola oil and pork oil and all that stuff, or lard. My body's able to handle the environment. So any change in the environment is not going to really, hurt me. It's not going to put me under or incapacitate me. You know, I might blow my nose, and that's what I was feeling the last couple weeks, was that my nose was always a little bit crusty inside. It was because it was releasing stuff. It was releasing. Finally, my nose has become clear. And when your nose becomes clear, it means your intestines and your body is becoming clear. And that's another indicator that things are either going to ramp up and become aggressive when you start blowing your nose a lot and you have crusties up your nose. And so when you finally blow your nose and then stuff comes out, blow your nose, and that's the whole thing with the alimentary canals. Both sides of the alimentary canal do have to communicate with each other. And so there are indicators that when your body is fighting something off, and you don't disarm your body, but people do. And I do not disarm my body. I just deal with it. I rest when I need to. I eat. I feed all pain. Because every single time you feed pain, you're giving your body nutrients, and you're also giving it a carrier force to carry out the demons. If you don't eat, if you don't drink water, eat and drink and feed that pain, whatever it is, the body has no way to carry it out. It has no carrier force. It has no substance to carry it out. When people are starving themselves, when they're on diets, when they're politically against food, when they're fasting, when they really should be eating a bunch of food and releasing, but you know how people are when they're afraid to release, they're too afraid to eat because they're over capacity. That's why people who are obese, who don't like the J word, are like, how can you say just binge and then purge and blah, blah, blah. They're like, that's so unhealthy. Well, when you have so much substance to you, and you're not releasing, of course you're going to be against food. Of course you're going to think that the whole J world is unhealthy because you're over capacity. You're blocked up. You're stopped up. You don't know how to release. That's why there's so much obesity and so many people who are emaciated because they don't want to eat because it's painful. And that's on both ends, emaciated and obese. Eating is painful for both ends. That's what the grim reality about the two ends of the spectrum of the extremes of those that are too afraid of food and those that are obese and those that are emaciated. And I said I wouldn't use obese, but I mean, I'm talking about morbidly obese. I'm not talking about just like, okay, a little vanity pounds. I'm talking about someone who is like literally have to go get gastric bypass. They are like cutting out sugar and carbs and GMO because it's all that's like triggering their inflammation. And so anyway, so food is an issue for both of those two ends of the spectrum. Food is painful. And so in the J world, food will only be painful until you finally assimilate to your fucking environment, to where all food is going to be fine, whether it's meat, milk, cheese, eggs, fruits, vegetables, oils, and all that stuff. But if you're staying away from any kind of food out there, you have an inability to adapt to your environment. An inability, and food is painful, which means your environment is going to be painful, and you're going to have a hard time assimilating. And so that's why the whole J world is about feeding your pain all food. And so when you think about it, the J world is so enjoyable when you used to deny yourself food because someone told you that food was poison when it really wasn't. It's just you just had the inability to adapt to the food supply because you had the inability to adapt to your environment. And so yesterday, I just was feeding. This whole week, I was feeding my body and releasing, feeding and releasing and resting, waiting for it to come to a head because everything came to a head yesterday and last night. And so now I have better range of motion, but I'll tell you, I mean, it's sore, but I'm not yelping doing this or this, but I had trouble turning over. I would yelp if I would do it, but let me tell you, after I was on the toilet and I took a shower at 5 a.m. this morning after 3 times yesterday pooping, once in the morning and twice in the afternoon, I'm feeling so much better because I opened up my system and I released all of that stuff. And you don't realize that those little microbes that are in your poop are what is plaguing you, what's causing your cancer, your disease, your chronic illness, your obesity, morbidly obesity, your emaciation, your fear around everything. Your whole personality it resides in your gut. And then also your gut is being commodified by the medical and the holistic system. And so once you control your own gut, you control the fucking world. Like literally, once you control your gut, you control your own health, you control your own way you react to stuff, you control your fears, you control everything. They have found a way, the system has found a way to control everything through your gut. And you see it all over Facebook, all over Facebook. And so I found a way for you to actually set yourself free. But some people will not have what it takes to do it. And some people have really good genes and they'll be able to last for a certain amount of time in the system that they're in right now. But they will have a hard time releasing those demons. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. But when you had never really been sick or ever fought any really major battles within your body, you think someone will have the capacity to fight a battle of releasing the old world when they've invested so much in the old world? So then you just thank them for their service and thank them for their stick-to-itiveness, thank them for their ability to be able to produce and keep our infrastructure going, because those are the people that are the true angels, are the ones that are so cured that they don't need too much from the system at all, and they're able to keep performing until they won't be able to anymore. Okay? And so it's a double-edged sword around this. And so that's why I try to be a little bit sympathetic to those that have never really been sick, that have really good genes where they don't really have to take too many of the therapies and have to take too much time off, that they're just like the Energizer Bunny, and they're built like brick shit houses, and they are the ones that are the foundation of our society. And so we have to thank them. But those that are feeling the sickness, are, dealing with the evolution, if you want to live, you have to support it correctly. If you want to if you want to commodify all your body parts and just give it away to everybody and their mother and therapize yourself out of existence, that is also your choice. And we still thank you for your service too. But there is a way to set yourself free from that system. And it might take a minute for you to understand how your body works and all your predisposed issues, and how you still survive in a society where it requires you to have some kind of income, obviously. But at some point in the future, Audrey was saying to me a couple days ago, she's like, at some point we'll have a universal income, which I'm fine with. And then anything on top of that you decide to do will then be the extra gravy on the top, the extra cherry, the extra whipping cream. So anyways, that's all I'm going to say. Have a good day. But I just kicked this spinal meningitis, whatever it is. And I don't have any learning disabilities. I don't have any kind of issues because I've already released the demons. They're not going to plague me. All right. Bye.